Thank you. Thank you.
Hola.
Inés,
Hola.
¿qué tal estás? Hola,
Bien.
María.
Gracias. ¿Y tú?
Muy bien. Hola, Noemi. And Sarina. Well, Belén, Belén is very close now. She's in Europe at this moment.
Put your micro, Belén. You are without micro.
I told them before I just arrived to Bilbao.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
close to all of you. Yesterday we finished the session. I took the flight and I came from Delhi to Bombay, Bombay to Amsterdam, Amsterdam, Bilbao, and I am again in the session.
Talking about shed.
Mãe? Mãe? Diz olá, Beatriz. Diz olá, Beatriz. Diz olá, Beatriz.
Beijinhos. Beijinhos, um beijinho.
Mãe, Beatriz Global, mãe. Beatriz Global.
Ah, não sabia.
Você chegar aqui, senão eu não vê. Olha, vê se fica sem internet.
Beatriz, um grande abraço. Um beijo também. Tudo bom do mundo. Paz de Deus.
It was my mom to say hello to Beatriz. É, mas foi abaixo, mãe. Fiquei sem internet. Espera aí que ninguém viu nada, que eu fiquei sem... Não, porque foi abaixo. Vou ter que reiniciar. Olha lá.
Excuse me. Maybe we can mute the microphones except for the ones who are speaking, okay? If I may. So can I kindly request you mute your microphones? And shall we start, Noemi? What do you think?
Yes, if you want, we can start.
Yes, I think we can.
Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for staying here with us to share and to listen the third session of seminars for students, blockchains and cybersecurity. The third section is entitled Data Anonymity, the case of NYMIZ company, and this is involved in the educational for technological literacy and inclusion. That's its E4TLI project. First of all, I will start introducing Manu Diaz. This is our the lecture of the session of today. So Manu Diaz is the co-founder and CTO of NYMIZ. It's a startup, a technological-based company that uses artificial intelligence for help companies meet their compliance obligation under some privacy regulations. He started his career as a software developer and worked in the role of various companies from 2000 and 2014. And then he worked as technician leadership and deep ops from 2014 and 2016. After that, he took on software architecture roles from 2016 until the end of 2019. And nowadays, he is the CTO of NYMIZ since 2020, and he leads the technology side of the team, where they focus on using artificial intelligence to detect and protect personal data. So we will start with the section. It will be in English. Manu is going to speak about his experience in this area, mainly in cybersecurity, but focus on anonymization. And when we finish, you can do the questions and suggestions that you want. When you want, you are welcome. Thank you very much for staying with us. Manu.
Okay, thank you very much, Noemi. Thank you all for coming to this session. Thank you for inviting me to bring this session. It's a pleasure for me. I'm not going to introduce myself. Noemi did a terrific work on that. So basically, I'd like, if you please, to talk about not only about the specifics of anonymization of and privacy, but also a little bit about cybersecurity. Although I'm aware that there was a previous session that was more focused on the cybersecurity as a broad concept. Maybe we can start with that, with a brief concept. Basically, what is cybersecurity?
Sorry, Manu, can you share the slides, please? Can you share the slides?
Okay, here we are. Well, basically, what is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity is the discipline and the set of practices and technologies and tools and knowledge aimed at trying to protect any kind of software, hardware, or information. Okay, in a perfect world, maybe we could not need cybersecurity, because if I'm already have the appropriate permissions to do anything in a system, then I should not have this worry about anyone trying to do anything that is not permitted. But not only it is one of the, in fact, one of the aspects of the cybersecurity, trying to bring the appropriate permissions on a system that is also a part of not being able to disrupt the proper functioning of this system, okay, or of this device or this set of information. And then, as you may already know, or may or may not already know, in the present day is becoming more and more important to keep safe practices and to focus on cybersecurity. Some of you maybe were victims of some kind of attacks, people trying to impersonate someone else or some company. In fact, pretty much once or twice a week, we received some kind of attacks, especially attack of the CEO. That is one of the most popular these days. But there's a saying in this industry that there are companies and individuals that have been hacked, and the ones that are not aware that have been hacked. I mean, pretty much everyone, every company and person, one way or another, in some point of time, has been a victim of some kind of attack. Maybe it was not successful, maybe you didn't lose everything, but one way or another, your information or your devices pretty much surely has been compromised. I don't want to talk about, I mean, out of fear, but about awareness, okay? Because we can do things about this. The cyber criminals are working very hard with edge technologies and state-of-the-art in artificial intelligence, well, are pretty automating everything. And once you detect these kind of attacks, you become aware of this. But also in the industry, the companies and the people that try to mitigate this, we are also trying to use the best technologies at hand to try to protect pretty much everything. I mean, computers, devices, and in this case, personal information. We can focus, if you please, now in this subject that is pretty much the focus of this session. That is the privacy, the personal privacy. Okay. This is kind of our slogan. Nothing is personal, only privacy. And if you try to define what we do, I mean, NYMIZ is a company, it's a startup, as Noemi already mentioned. We have 4 years. We're about to reach 5 years of existence now in this December. We have a product, we have a platform with the objective, with the target of protect the personal information, mostly in documents, but our vision in the long term is try to protect information, the personal information, not only in documents, but pretty much in most of the software activities that you run in on a daily basis. Okay, I'm sure that everyone here works, for example, with PDF documents, docx, images, maybe scanned documents, and all of these type of documents can include personal information, and these are the kind of documents that we try to protect. We use artificial intelligence for this purpose, for this sake, and why we use artificial intelligence is because we want to detect information in its context. Okay, we don't find information saying that, for example, if this word is preceded by Mr. or Mrs. or something like that, then it's a person or things like that. Those are kind of previous generations of software with this purpose that are kind of expert software, expert programs. We use artificial intelligence in order to say that, for example, okay, I'm going to say this in Spanish, if el señor Julio ha nacido en el mes de julio, if Mr. Julio born in July, then by context, the artificial intelligence is aware that the first appearance of the word is a person, and the second appearance of the word is the month of the year. Okay, let's give some context on this. Again, we are trying not to focus on fear, but out of awareness, okay? Cyber attacks usually involve a data breach. In fact, information is kind of the oil of the 21st century. Maybe you heard this saying a lot, but it's completely true. Information is the main value of every kind of every company in these days. and every company has some kind of documents that includes personal information from employees, customers, providers, supply chain, and so on. There's this statistic that says that every 39 seconds, a company suffers a cyber attack. Okay, not a data breach, a cyber attack. That's why I previously mentioned that there's another thing that's there's the companies that are aware and the ones that are not aware. This is costly for every company or for every person. I myself know two people in my circle of influence that have been victims of impersonation, and they lost, well, in some cases, a couple of hundreds of euros. But if you scale this to lots of people, then these are very different numbers. And if you talk about companies, the cost of data recovery in the average of a data breach for a US company was 4.45 million in 2023. Okay. Most of the time, this includes reputational damage and also maybe fines or even customers' loss and things like that. But at average, the cost is 4.45 million. These are the 5 largest fines in the EU in the last year, in 2023. I'm going to on this. These are the companies that received fines for 1.2 billion. Amazon, TikTok, Google. These are the companies that receive the most costly fines for this kind of things. If you think about this, these companies didn't intend in the first place to, of course, not to be fined, but to allow a data breach or to manage the personal information in an erroneous or illegal way. But when you enter the EU space, there are, well, several compliance laws and regulations, and you have to be very careful on how you manage this kind of information. And these companies, well, one way or another, weren't enough careful or enough, well, again, aware of how to run these workflows to protect the information. So they received some kind of fine. Well, this is another case, the reputational damage that we previously mentioned, and the impact on business. Ticketmaster, the share price dropped after the data breach. Because I'm going to minimize this. Oh, sorry. In this case, well, Ticketmaster and data breaches can cause stock value losses of up to 15% over several months. I mean, this is kind of, I'd like to say, maybe I don't know if I want to use the word nightmare for these companies, but it's not only that Ticketmaster lost up to 15% of its stock value overnight, but over several months they had to work on this, and this goes on and goes on and goes on until you achieve to remediate the impact of these incidents. Well, we like to say that NYMIZ is the only solution that helps you with these 3 aspects: protecting sensitive data so that it becomes useless for hackers, complying with privacy regulations, and unlocking the value of data, generating new revenue streams. This message is that kind of seem a little commercial. I mean, for a customer to have this sensation of safety. What lies behind is that these three concepts I'd like to focus on. If I, for example, I don't know, medical record, or I don't know, my resume, for example, I have information in this document, but so if a hacker gets the document, then maybe he can grab my name, my personal ID, my address, my phone number, and he or she can use this information to get some benefit. Well, especially medical records. I've heard a statistic a few years ago that the complete information, I mean, of a credit card, the credit card number and the CVV and the expiration date, goes in the dark web. It's sold by around $30. But if I try to buy the medical record of a person, the cost is around $600, 20 times more, because of course the medical information of a person is so much sensitive, is so much important to protect than a credit card. So what happens if I want to share, or I want to share these documents, for example, my resume, my medical record on, I don't know, anywhere in the web, or where with someone that I trust, or I think I trust in the first place, and I want to share this information with a third person, a third party. If we don't achieve to use the most secure practices, maybe this document goes in the wild and my personal information with this document. But if I protect this information, if I hide this information, if I anonymize this information, then the document is pretty much useless. I mean, it depends on what information I protect, what information I keep open, but the values of this information, of this document, is less important for this hacker. The second point here is complying with privacy regulations. I mean, there are lots of situations where a company or an individual needs to share this information. Okay, for example, think about a doctor that goes to a patient home and tries to, do a triage of this person sickness or anything like that, and this doctor, once he's going to this patient home, needs to receive the medical record of this person. How this doctor receives this information? Well, in the past, in fact, we talked with customers that in the past, for example, send by email the medical record of this person to the personal email of this doctor. Trust me. And of course, if this person, this doctor can forward this information with good deeds, I mean, not trying to do some harm, but, or if you send this email to the wrong person, to the wrong address, then these medical records are out in the wild again. So nowadays, today these companies, I mean, pretty much every company that manages this kind of information needs to do these workflows, to do these things in a secure way. This doctor we were talking about needs to receive the information in a secure way, but also, if possible, and of course, if it is possible, with the information properly hidden, protected, anonymized, and try to receive only the information that he or she needs to do the task at hand, for example, to take care of this patient. So you as a medical company, as a utility, as a business-to-business company, no matter what's the industry you are in, you need to comply with these privacy regulations that that exist all over Europe. Well, of course, if you don't want to be fined like these companies or Ticketmaster. And in third place, we have this item that says unlocking the value of data, generating new revenue streams. If you remove the personal information of the document, and if the proper creation of this document took a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of intellectual property or industrial property, then you can reuse this document and you can get more revenue from this. For example, we have actual customers that are in the legal sector, and that their products are, for example, legal knowledge bases. And if I'm a lawyer and I want to create, I don't know, a divorce sentence or final or a final, something like that, or an M&A between two companies or anything like that, then I just need to get into their product and search for the kind of document that I want to use to create for my customer, and fill the information of the for example, the two companies that are involved in an M&A, or the two people that are involved in a divorce, and just like that, I have this document. And the revenue I get from these documents increase, because I create this document once and I can reuse these once and again. Sorry, I'm not seeing you. I don't know if you want to interrupt me or make any questions, or maybe we can stay for the questions to the end, but please let me know. I'm not seeing, I'm just seeing the presentation. So if anyone wants to raise your hand or make any question, please let me know. Okay, what is NYMIZ in fact? And I want to talk a little bit about NYMIZ because this may give us some context of what we are talking about. NYMIZ has an NLP proprietary model. NLP is for natural language processing, is one of the disciplines inside the artificial intelligence industry. And its purpose is to, well, as the name suggests, to understand the natural language. If I have an Excel file or a database, it's not natural language. It's kind of information that is structured in a certain way that I already know. So if I have a table or a spreadsheet, I already know where the personal information is, so I can hide it in a more easily way. Although our product is, we support this kind of structured documents, Excel files and databases, but our focus is in non-structured documents, and so we need these kind of technologies, this kind of artificial intelligence and NLP models. We work with docs, with documents, we would work with databases, we work with emails, and we work with over 100 languages. And this is for the very nature of the architecture of our artificial intelligence we use. And what we do is these 5 activities that you can see here. Of course, the main challenge, the first challenge of all of this is trying to detect the information in the most effective and efficient way. Why am I saying this? Is because the human technology, I mean, I like to say that we are very good at this, but even though the human technology is not capable still to detect every single piece of personal information in a document. Okay, across the industry, across the planet, no matter if you are using ChatGPT, if you are using our technology, it doesn't matter. The human technology is not already capable of finding 100% of information, of personal information in a document, okay? Although this is the first challenge that we faced, in fact, it's still a challenge for us on a daily basis, and I mean, it's kind of our mission. Nevertheless, it's as important or more important to properly obliterate, to delete, to erase, to hide this information in these documents. So what is anonymization and what is pseudonymization? Well, if we speak in GDPR terms, I don't know if any of you are familiar with the GDPR. Is kind of, well, not kind of, sorry, it's the European regulation that its purpose is to protect the personal information across the European space. In fact, its name is General Data Protection Regulation. And then once again, in every country, it is converted into a local law. For example, here in Spain, we have the LOPD, the Ley Orgánica de Protección de Datos. In some of the concepts it defines, the GDPR and the local laws, are these terms, okay? Anonymization and pseudonymization. What is the difference? Anonymization is the very act of completely, in an irreversible way, hide the information, remove the information from the document, okay? Let me show you an example. This here, it's kind of, I mean, maybe the text is kind of tiny right now, but pretty much the important concept here is that you can see here these black lines, these boxes, these black boxes in the document that are hidden information beneath. In fact, in part due to the PDF specification, we can completely erase the information. If you, I mean, we can keep these documents editable. You can modify these documents after they are anonymized. And if you try to grab these boxes from here and move them, the information is no longer beneath. You will no longer find the name of this Mrs. Ana Rodriguez, for example, okay? And what is the difference between anonymization and pseudonymization? Okay, pseudonymization is reversible. You can go back to the original state of the document. What's the use for this? Well, pretty much in every scenario that you want to share this information, this document, and then, but you want to keep, you want and you can keep the original version or some kind of a protected version of this document, because for legal reasons or for practical reasons or commercial, whatever, maybe you will need in the future to get to the original state of the document. In fact, for legal reasons, for example, you can keep, I don't know, a resume of a person for up to 2 years. After 2 years, if this person is not your employee. After 2 years, you have to delete the personal information. But maybe you want to keep the resume to I don't know, to maybe, you know, grab some job descriptions or know the experience of someone, but In the meantime, in these 2 years, after this person was in contact with you, you can keep the original file. But as you want to protect the information, then you can pseudonymize this, and you can keep this document in a more safely manner. And eventually, if you want to contact this person, you can revert this process and get the original document. And then you can contact this person and maybe keep in touch with him or she, and offer a work, a job offer. Okay, and what are these words? Masking, tokenization, and synthetic data. Where the masking is kind of this example we saw earlier, that is hidden information. For example, in graphical documents, we do this by drawing these black lines, these black boxes. But we can also, for example, I will try to zoom in here. Okay. Maybe you can see here that we replace, for example, Ana Rodriguez, that is a person name, with per1. And here we have org2. These numbers mean that this is a company and this is a different company. This is the way I can, this is a tokenization, okay? Because these letters here, these 3 letter tokens are the ones that show me or indicates what kind of information was in the first place in this document. So here I had a person, here a company, here a date, here I had the information, the identification of this company, an email, a phone, and so on, okay? So this way, if I grab this document in the future and say that I have here the one organization and this is a different organization, I can say that there are 2 different companies in this case, so I can understand better the context and the flow of this document, okay? If I just anonymize the information and I have these boxes here, and I guess I can understand the context here, but these are very simple documents. If you watch at more complicated documents, it's a challenge to follow the concepts behind the documents, and so this is where these techniques like the tokenization are more useful. And sometimes we can use a different approach that is synthetic data, okay? And this way you can replace, for example, Ana Rodriguez with Yun Stephanie. For example, this company identification is completely random, and also this email. So what's the use of this? What's the purpose of this? Well, sometimes you need kind of realistic documents for different purposes. For example, in this case, you may want to use these documents to train artificial intelligence models. Okay, we have customers that do this, that need to have their documents anonymized or pseudonymized with this kind of information to train their own models, and to, for example, or even to get these documents inside third-party artificial intelligence products like ChatGPT or Cloud or whatever, that the processing of this information happens outside the European space, and also with different laws and regulations, and they want to protect, to keep protecting this information because they have to, and so they use our product to anonymize this information this way. So again, by doing this, you can protect the value of the documents. in the past, if I mean, not in the past, but if you don't use any kind of anonymization product like NYMIZ, then if you use these documents and get into, for example, ChatGPT and want to extract information or knowledge or summary or whatever, then you have two options. You have to do this manually, okay, by yourself, or you cannot use the documents. And if you cannot use the documents, then the value of them is just, I mean, you create this document and you use it, and then that's it. That's the value of it. You cannot grab any more value from this document. Okay. Well, these are slides that talk about competition of NYMIZ, but well, you can see that there are pretty big names here. Okay, what we focus on is, I mean, again, I will get on this to give you more context of why is this important. These are our main, the main industries we work with, okay? The legal sector for knowledge management purposes, this is the one I previously mentioned. Public sector for masking legal documents. I mean, I like to think in these cases that, for example, especially in the public sector, that we try to make the world a little better, you know? I mean, once we work with the public sector, I like to think that my own personal information and everyone else is a little more protected, and you know, we bring a little bit more safety for all of us. Protecting privacy for feeding Gen AI, the last use case I mentioned, the M&A and private equity, healthcare for scientific research. I mean, all over Europe, there is a thing called data spaces. That, for example, if I'm a doctor, or I'm an investigator, I'm a researcher, and I want to, for example, let's say that I want to detect a new type of disease, a new type of virus, or I don't know, a cancer, whatever, and I need to contrast this with different sources from different countries, in order to find patterns or try to you know, I mean, take advantage of previous investigations and so on. Then I need to share this information, and I need to share the information. And as we previously said, the medical records are one of the most sensitive that we can find. So these data spaces are kind of isolated spaces that have very specific security measures implemented in order to share this information safely, and to bring the researchers the proper tools to run their studies and their researches. And well, also again, the protecting privacy within medical records. We already talked about this. Okay. Well, you can see here the same techniques applied to relational databases. We currently support this kind of relational databases. This is a little different because our customers already know the information, the tables, so they already know where personal information is. So the value that NYMIZ brings to the table here is, in the first place, the possibility to pseudonymize and of course, to revert this pseudonymization and get the databases as they previously were, and also to try to find the, I mean, to keep the consistency between different, the same information in different sources, in different tables. So every time you find, for example, here, I don't know, Torrecua and the name of the primary attention unit and so on. Every time we found this word, I mean, if we use tokenization, not masking, then we are going to replace with the same terms, so the consistency is kept all over the database. These are the two main value we add to these processes. Okay. Well, these are we are the two founders. This is my partner associate Oscar Villanueva, who is the CEO of the company, and this is myself. These are some of the customers we have. I think I'm going to move away from this slide, so not to I mean, these are customers' logos. So summing up, again, this is kind of course, we are here for business. We want to make money by growing our company and selling our product to different kinds of customers. But again, our mission is to protect information, the personal information of everyone, and try to get a little better every day and at finding the information in the documents. And we've been cataloged as deep tech startup because we need to always be on the edge, because what you see here are documents that look, I mean, they seem kind of simple, but I mean, trust me, especially the PDF format is one of the most trickiest out there. So effectively finding information in pretty much every type of document you can find in the wild, it's a challenging task, and so we need to invest in the most bleeding edge technologies, especially in the artificial intelligence industry, in order to become better every day. And I'd like to add that we previously say in one of these slides, I'd mentioned that we want to do this in pretty much every activity, every software activity, or in every place you have personal information. We want to protect this information, and these formats that we support, these document formats that we support in the present day, are just the tip of the iceberg. You know, the docx, Excel files, PDF, text, TXT, images, and now emails. We are adding PowerPoint files. It's because over time, I mean, in the beginning of the conversation, I was talking about awareness. Okay, trying not to talk about fear, try to talk about awareness. And I recall 4 to 5 years ago, in the moment we talked to some companies, the awareness was very low on those days. I mean, it was so much more difficult to sell NYMIZ, let me say that, because companies say, okay, yeah, we have to protect the information. This is important. I mean, yes, but I don't know, this is not a top priority these days, and so on. After this time, I mean, companies already say, okay, I have to do this. I'm already doing something like this. What else can you give me? I mean, do you support this format, this technique? How many documents can I protect in this spectrum of time? I mean, the questions are so very different. And this is why we are constantly adding these different types of documents. It's because you can find personal information pretty much in every type of document. So we try to add and to constantly add new documents and new type of documents to protect the information of these companies and these people. I don't know if, so far if anyone has any question. I can go back to, oh, sorry, here. Does anyone has any questions so far or any comments?
I have one question. Thank you very much, Manny, in advance for the information. I think it's very, very rich for us because it's a issue that we have not a lot of information about it, and we can focus on this with your session. Thank you for it. I have one question because you said that in one slide, I don't know which one, the number of the slide, that you focus on the most sensitive data regarding to legal, public sector, health, and other areas. I would like to know if the anonymation that the companies or the entities ask to you is a permanent anonymation, or is anonymation that could be reversed.
Okay, good question. And also it brings to my mind a topic that I didn't mention. Let me, in the first place, answer. It depends on the case. Okay, I know that this is not a very conclusive answer, but for example, in the legal sector, one of the most valuable workflows that we found is they want to. They invest a lot of time in creating documents. We used to see any, simple documents, but sometimes they have, what's the name? If bounded volumes. I mean, in Spanish, if is a Bible, Biblia. In English, is bounded volumes, but are documents that have hundreds or thousands of pages. And think about the amount of time and an effort that a company or a legal office has to invest in these kind of documents. So once the legal period of time that you can preserve this information, for example, if for, I don't know, terrorism, there is no limit. If there is a murder or kidnapping, I guess I try to remember it's about, I don't know, 10 to 20 years that you can keep this document and things like that. A resume, 2 years. But after this period of time, you need to delete this information. So they lose all this value of all this effort and time and resources they invest in this single document. Okay. In the health sector, so they want to reverse the process, or being able at least to remove the information, but to keep the document. In the health sector, it's kind of the need is more clear. I mean, they want to completely remove the information, so there's no single chance of getting the original information back. But if you think about, for example, an IT department of a company, they may, for example, want to protect, I don't know, development or testing environment of a software with the information, pseudonymized, but maybe they want to get the information back in order to, if it is in production stage. So, or different people with different permissions can, for example, see the information open. I mean, the proper information of what the document or the information you are seeing, but a different person with a different role and less permissions doesn't need or needs not to being able to see this information. So in this case, then you may want to apply pseudonymization, the reversible process.
You can ensure this permanent anonymization. I mean, because the new technology is coming, and maybe with one hacker can reverse the information. I mean, you can follow the company, and the company can back to you to say, okay, can you revise our anonymization data to protect it to be permanent, completely unreversible?
Yeah, good question. There's a principle that there is no single unhackable system in the world, okay? But we try to split these security measures in this way. Let's say that you bring, I don't know, this Word document, this docx document into NYMIZ, and then you want to pseudonymize this, okay? So you can, it's possible for you to reverse the process. Okay, then we grab the information, the personal information from the document, and we transform this in, for example, the tokens we were previously talking about. Then Noemi Peña is replaced with per2, and Beatriz Plaza is replaced with per1. Okay. These replacements are stored inside NYMIZ, okay, encrypted. And how is this encrypted? With a password that only the customer knows. In fact, if you pseudonymize a document or a database, and you lose the you lose the password, then there's nothing to do about it. We cannot revert the process. Information is gone. Okay, so the security is split into. I mean, if you want to get the original document, the original information, then you need to hack the NYMIZ database, get the pseudonym, this kind of dictionary that has the information and its pseudonym, and you have to get the pseudonymized document, and in the third place you need the password. The password in one place, the NYMIZ database, and the original and the pseudonymized document. I mean, there's no unhackable system, but we made it kind of hard to break it.
Thank you.
I'd like to add something that with the previous question, you bring to my mind this. Personal information is not the only kind of information we protect, okay? Because if you see at the GDPR, then personal information is anything that relates to a person, and especially the ones that allows us to identify a single person, okay? If I say that Noemi, for example, is a woman, okay, half of the people in the world is a woman. But what if I say that Noemi lives in Bilbao? Then the spectrum narrows, and so on. But I need different, pieces of information in order to get to Noemi. But these days, sometimes, for example, my wife the other day received a call. We were in the street. A person saying that, okay, are you this name? Yeah, this is me. Okay, I'm ringing your doorbell, and I'm from Amazon. I want I need to leave a package for you. Oh, okay. Please contact the doorman that he needs to be over there. But this time of the noon, he's on. Yeah, but I need your personal ID. Sorry, what? Yes, in order to leave this package here, I need your personal ID. No, sorry, but I'm not going to. My wife, I know. She listens me pretty much every single day talking about these things. So she's already aware, and she said, no, I'm not going to give you your personal my personal ID. Okay, then I will not give you. I not leave this package here. Okay, then don't leave the package. It's okay. I'm not going to give you. Okay, then afterwards. This very. I mean, we were expecting a package. This is the funniest part. We were already expecting a package. So this same night, a person from the post office, the Correos Express, came to our house and say, hey, I'm looking for this person. I have this package. Yes, this is me. But are you the same person that came here today? No, this is the first time I'm here at your home. Okay, because a person came, called me earlier and said, okay, I'm looking for this person. No, it was not me. And you did well not bringing this person the personal ID, because they already had your name, they already had your address, and they want your personal ID. And afterwards, they go for your I don't know, your email and so on, and eventually they have this database of you. Okay, so this is pretty much the most sensitive information that we want to protect. But I don't know if everyone in this session is aware of what a CSV code is. It's not the file format, the CSV file format. The CSV is a unique code that the public administration uses to identify a single document in order to show this document to the person, to persons, to people that needs access to this document. For example, if I have, I don't know, my certificate of birth, that then I receive this copy of this document, and this document has a CSV. And if I go to the web page of the organization that originally created this certificate of birth of me, then if I enter this CSV code, that is a very long code, then I can access to the original file with the personal information in this document. Okay, no hidden information. So a few years ago, one person from the public administration told us, oh, but do you anonymize, do you detect CSV codes? Sorry, this is no personal information. I mean, CSV is no, if I have this CSV code, I cannot identify per se any single person in the world. Oh, but this is one of the most sensitive information for us, because if you have this CSV code, then you can access a document that has all the personal information, and it's open. Okay, so it's very sensitive. Okay, what I try to say here is that over time, over the last few years, we also needed to work in detecting and afterwards protecting different kinds of information in different kinds of documents that we weren't aware that our customers needed to protect. I don't know if anyone has additional questions.
I have another one.
Shoot.
my question is about if you think if it's probably that anonymization could be fully automized. I mean, everything do by the machine without human experts control. I mean, we were talking about the AI, artificial intelligence the other day, and we was talking about the things that the processors that could be the procedure that can be do by artificial intelligence could be replace the work that the people do, the human work. And I don't know if in this case the anonymization processes could be replaced by the machine. I mean, without control of human resources, they can do everything and with fully protection only with the machines, with the process automation process.
We are on track for that. I mean, in the present day, you can use NYMIZ to, for example, let's say that you start a batch process. I mean, you have this, I don't know, 5,000 documents that you want to protect. It will take you, let's say, 6 months of your staff to anonymize this information. So you say, okay, I want to protect this information, but if I use NYMIZ, then it's going to take 2 days, 3 days to anonymize this information. It depends on how many pages, the volume, the size of the documents, and the types of information that you want to hide, and so on. But let's say that a couple of days versus 6 months. Okay, that's one of the benefits. But you mentioned a very interesting point that, well, I mean, you recall something that I previously said, that artificial intelligence doesn't get to detect 100% of the information. Then what happens if I need 100%? Okay, then over time we needed to bring the possibility for the people, for the user, to supervise the result. I mean, we detect we're close to 100%. We are 90. It depends on it. It's different depending on the type of information, personal names or companies' names, and so on. But if you need to get to 100%, then you can preview the process in the tool, and then you can say, okay, this in fact was a name, but it's in a strange context, so the artificial intelligence didn't find it, or I don't know, for any reason. You have, I mean, our tool is capable of receiving different types of configuration, but I mean, for the most part of the process, then it is fully automated. So what you can do with our tool, and this kind of tool, there are not too many in the market, but what you can do is to say, for example, I want to anonymize these 5,000 documents or 5 million documents with this configuration. You know, I want to protect the people's names, but not the companies or not the addresses, or and so on. And then you bring those documents and you say, okay, NYMIZ, go for it, and you will let me know when you've finished. Then 90 to 100% of the work is already fully automated. And yes, you're right. It is not fully automated, but we are on track for that. It's a matter of time. I mean, I hope that we are very close to get to the point that you can rely on kind of, we are going to get to 100%, and the whole process could be 100% automated. Anyone else?
Yeah, I would like to know, thank you very much for your presentation. It's very good. And I was wondering if I pay the $600 and get the software, will it work automatically, or do I have buttons that I should say I want to do anonymization or pseudonymization or masking, whatever. And then what happens if I put the software? This is the second question. And since it's difficult to return to the initial point, if I understood well your explanation to Noemi, will it start looking at all my documents, all my files that might have personal data, for example, students' data or other personal elements, and then block my way of working daily?
Okay, I mean, the first question is, if I understand correctly, if the basic, I mean, the automated workflow, if you can set different scenarios of what you can and cannot hide.
Yeah, if I have buttons to press to each document, or if I have it and I put just inside the file, and he decides to do anonymization or serialization or masking or whatever.
By default, NYMIZ is very sensitive. I mean, it's sensitive in terms of it will try to anonymize everything, okay? So if you want to, for example, let's say that you have legal documents, okay? And you already know that you want to hide the personal information, but not for lawyers or judges. And you want to hide companies' names and addresses, but not dates. For example, you already know that you want to work this way for this set of documents. Okay. And then you set up this configuration in the previous steps of the process, and eventually you get to the point of say, okay, I'm going to drag and drop the files. I'm going to upload the files, and then you start the process, and the process is autonomous. I mean, it will respect the original configuration you set up. If you have different types of documents and different types of configurations, then you can create one batch with this configuration and create a different batch for this other couple of hundreds of documents with this other different configuration, and so on.
So it's kind of Excel that you have filters and that you have to, or not?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, they don't. I mean, yeah, they have a resemblance of filters. You can switch on and off different types of information. Yes, something like that.
Okay, but the returning process is not easy, if I understood, to the initial document.
I mean, it's if you don't have the password, or if you don't have the pseudonymized file, it's pretty much impossible unless you have a quantum computer. And if you do, let's talk about it. But if you don't have a very advanced technology that can break digital certificates, I mean, it's the kind of the most secure way of protecting information. It's the most secure way of protecting information. Unless you have the password and you have access to NYMIZ and you have the pseudonymized file, then it's pretty much impossible to reverse the pseudonymization.
Okay, so I should keep the original document, for example, always saved in another file, or in another how do you say, in a pen drive or something like that?
It depends on the legal requirements of the task at hand. Because, for example, if this is a legal sentence and you have this document for some number of years, and the law says, I mean, there is no specific number of years per type of information according to GDPR. I know the English words for this, but it's kind of, you can preserve the information for the time that the law says that you can do something about this. For example, if it is a crime, then you can keep the information for, I don't know, for example, 10 years, okay? for these 10 years, maybe in this case, in this example that you mentioned, you could need to keep the original file and the pseudonymized or anonymized file. But after that, after these 10 years, that you should keep just the anonymized or pseudonymized file. I mean, the anonymized file, because you can no longer keep the information. So it depends on the case. It depends on the industry and the use case or the business case. Okay.
And then the second question was the running of the software in the laptop or the hardware, let's say it. Does it works like a virus detector that stops you when you have something that it's again the GDPR rules, or you have your own hardware and it doesn't interfere with what you have inside your computer, let's say?
Yeah, that's right. It's the second one. It's not an intrusive workflow. I mean, NYMIZ is a distributed web application that you can access to in different ways. We have a SaaS version, software as a service. Yeah. Or if you're a company and you have your own data center, then you can ask us to deploy NYMIZ in your own infrastructure. But it doesn't run in your local computer. And it is not intrusive in terms of it finds the document and says, oh, hello, here is personal information, then you cannot do anything with this. No. It's like a remediation process that I want to protect these documents. And then you bring the documents into NYMIZ.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any more questions? I have maybe the last question. I would like to know which countries and which companies, more or less in which sector, are pioneers in the data anonymization. I understand that it can go hand to hand with the importance that they give to the data privacy, but you can say to us what are the countries that are more pioneers in this moment, and they are boosting the data anonymization processes?
Good question. You're doing very good questions, Naomi. These days it's more like countries are pretty much every country is already. I mean, all over the world there's more awareness of this. It's true that some countries do have more or less advanced regulations, and some other ones, for example, in the United States, you don't have a national regulation or law about this, but as they are pretty much reactive to this, they want to protect the information. I mean, they test for the value of their documents, of their task force, and their investment. So what they want to prevent is not kind of, I mean, they tend to be more worried about the value of the information than the privacy of the people, you know? And here in Europe people is more worried about the privacy of the people, and in the second place, compliance, and in the third place, the value of the documents, so to speak, okay, more or less. It's not kind of black or white, but it tends to be like that. There are exceptions, like, for example, I don't know, Argentina and Brazil have pretty much good and solid laws and regulation about this. Brazil was one of the first of the whole American continent having their I cannot recall now the name, but it has it's pretty much contemporaneous to the GDPR a couple of years later or so. If we narrow down to Europe, France, in fact, was one of the first to take these things seriously among the other countries of the European space. But it was, I mean, this is so recent, you know. It's the GDPR has around 8 years, 10 years today, something like that. So we are talking about a couple of years ago in France, people was more aware that the rest of Europe, but these days the situation is kind of more even, something like that.
Any more questions? Nobody have nothing to say, nothing to suggest, nothing on that?
Well, I have a very basic question, maybe. Sorry.
Go on.
In order to, for instance, we have Gmail accounts, we have free services by Google, for instance, and maybe this is a very basic question. I don't know. Can they use all these materials, and are they obliged to anonymize it? Thank you.
Yes. It's not that basic. It's not too as basic as you may expect. For example, I mean, the quick question is yes, you can use this information and be anonymized. We have a customer that it's in the tourism industry. They wanted to grab some, I mean, to get these hundreds of or thousands of emails from their customers and try to find some tendencies and marketing strategies and so on. But the problem is that they don't have this information in a structured way, you know, inside the database, because they were emails and the questions and the comments were in natural language, and they wanted to bring this to an artificial intelligence to extract the information, to summarize, and to see what can they do in terms of marketing. But they were worried about, okay, but ChatGPT is in the USA. They do not guarantee by any means that they are not going to use my information. And I'm already breaking the law if I bring these emails to ChatGPT, because I'm bringing European citizens' personal information into a United States company. So what they did was to extract these emails from Gmail. They exported these emails. They automated this task, and they're currently using NYMIZ to anonymize all the personal information. And afterwards they bring all these emails to ChatGPT in order to get this information.
Interesting. Thank you so much, Manuel.
Thank you.
So we can finish if nobody has any question. First of all, on behalf of the members of the project Education for Technological Literacy and Inclusion, thank you for attending this session, and we hope you find it interesting, and have a nice afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, Manu. Thank you very much, everybody. See you.
Yeah. Now we'll have a break of 5-10 minutes, and those attending the session of Thurra, we can join back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Great section. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Sarina, are you there? Sarina?
I'm here. Can you
Okay.
start?
Yeah, and Sura also is here, or I saw that she joined, but I cannot see
Yes,
her now.
she joined us. I asked her now by WhatsApp.
Yeah. If she's ready, we can start.
Just a minute.
Yeah.
Zohra.
Yeah, she just joined, no?
Yes, just joined. Zohra, you here?
Yes, hi, I am here. Sorry, it was disconnected somehow.
Okay.
Welcome.
So,
Thank you.
Now we have a summary session, and let me introduce shortly Zohra. So Zuhra is currently a strategic advisor at the Women in Digital Transformation and senior advisor on the CAPC Unlock, as well as serving as a member of the Transition Assistance Group of the Institute of Integrated Transition, advising countries on reforms regarding policy, institutional and regulatory conditions that govern the digital transformation and investment climate in the region. So this is short about the Zuhra, short information. And the floor is yours, Zuhra, please.
Yes, hi. Very nice meeting you all. And I think this session was fascinating in terms of details. And I think he was very patiently answering all the questions, which is very important because anything about cybersecurity, it's a bit of difficult. Why? Because while Manuel was very optimistic, however, in reality, especially when it comes to development countries, cybersecurity is not yet a number one issue or priority issue for those countries. So it seems that any countries who are actually moving toward digitalization and digital transformation, they are actually going through their own pattern of history to deal with cybersecurity, with the hacking, and etc. And every one of them using their different strategy, although because there is no one strategy. With respect of development of new technologies and new platforms and new softwares, the hackers are using them all. While we actually had heard many questions about use of artificial intelligence, but we should not forget that hackers are also using artificial intelligence to actually hack. So it's actually a sort of both, a sort of both sides. And it's actually good and bad. And that's why while Manuel was actually talking about this, he was saying that I don't want you to scare you off, but I want you to actually be aware of this. And this is actually true for any government and societies, but it's mostly about what is the capacity of the societies and citizens to be resilient. How much do they have skills, digital skills and digital talent, and digital literacy, not to end up to be hacked personally, not to end up to actually lose their personal data. So they will actually have to demand for their rights from their governments, and the governments have to produce the opportunity to defend their rights. GDPR have been mentioned several times, and GDPR is a very important document, and not only for EU. GDPR become a model for many of the countries, even in Central Asia and many other countries, as a methodology to create their own local laws on personal data and protection of that data. And this is also very important to really mention. To use different techniques to support and help ourselves how to face the dilemmas about the security, it's very important. But it's also we have to be really realistic that these are very professional talks, but how to make this accessible as a cybersecurity hygiene for most of the population, inclusive of students and professors at the universities. Universities are paying quite a bit expensive amount of money because they also have to protect their own networks inside the university, emails, correspondence among the students and the professorship. The third thing I have to really mention is what it is to be done in order to make cybersecurity a very important part of the dealing with the digitalization. And Manuel actually nicely mentioned about 90% coverage, but in reality is not the same thing. Ranking digital right reports, it's actually quite low. And in majority of the cases, most of the companies, fintechs, banks, and many others, inclusive of the e-shops and etc., are using personal data and actually selling their personal data to the third parties. And in majority of the cases, people who are dealing with those digital platforms have no idea about this. So I think one thing is important to mention. Learning about this is one step. A second is how to really gather the intellectual potential about it to create a very specific program for different levels of the society, especially for younger generation who is heavily using digital tools, and for older generation who is actually very much scared of using digital tools. How to make cybersecurity as an important part of their being, especially when it comes to the kids who are facing cyberbullying and they are not aware about cybersecurity issues and personal data and etc. So I would put it this way. I think cybersecurity is an important number one. The question is how we are going to deal with this and how cybersecurity should not be only a matter for professionals in cybersecurity, but also for the rest of the population. The other issue is that cybersecurity is an important issue. However, even in the United States, lack of professionals in cybersecurity field have been announced many times. They are lacking cybersecurity specialists in the defense. They are lacking special cybersecurity specialists in the public health, and they're generally lacking cybersecurity specialists. I would assume the same thing applies to European Union, but I assume it's even more in the rest of the world. I think it should be a concern, and questions should be raised on the higher level. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Zohra, for your summary regarding our session today. So do you have questions, dear partners, teachers, participants, please? Or maybe someone has any comments or addition? All looks tired. Okay. Thank you again, Zohran.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask one question, Sarina. She
Oh,
mentioned at some point the difference she feels in Asia, no? And yesterday, when we were having the discussion from, I think it was yesterday, the day before, we heard that Tajikistan was one of the countries whose level of attacks were highest, no? So are you aware of that, Surra? Because that was a piece of information that yesterday they gave us, that all over the world, Tajikistan is one of the countries that suffers more.
It's one of the highest, yes.
One of the highest. Okay.
Unfortunately.
And why is that? Why is that? Is there any reason for that?
Yes, there is absolutely a very, very clear reason for this. Central Asia is the highest in general, and Tajikistan is the highest among them. And Tajikistan is the only country in Central Asia which does not even have any policies on cybersecurity. Okay. The government still does not produce any research about cybersecurity. It was only one research recently, cybersecurity in the energy sector done by it's closed research by World Bank. Otherwise, if you look at the policies and practices which are in place, they are very outdated. The policies are coming from Soviet Union, which is already outdated by default, and nothing was done for past 30 years of independence. Unlike countries of Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan, who are actually moving very forward, unfortunately, Tajikistan have not done anything specifically. Whatever they done, they look at the cybersecurity issue as blocking the websites and actually following the people who are liking certain content on the Facebook and etc. They don't understand that the cybersecurity is much more deeper and much more specific things to work on. It's not about blocking the websites.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. More questions? No.
Maybe we need to wrap up, Sarina, at least the sessions for lecturers, that at least from understanding has been quite comprehensive, showing different perspectives, and I think we have all learned. And at least for me, there's less of that fear that I may have in the beginning, saying that, okay, there are many people working on the field. I think awareness is growing, but I think also the resources that are in place are also good, to safeguard ourselves, our institutions, our families, personally and institutionally. So I think I wanted to give thanks to all the participants and also all the attendance, that has been a high attendance seminar that we have to also be grateful for those who attended. Okay, so thank you so much. You can wrap it up now, Sarina, and we can just leave for the day.
Thank you, Maria. I also would like to say thanks to all, especially for our presenters, and also to participants as well. And also I'd like to acknowledge the unavailable support and collaboration from Basque Country University and you, MBM India, this is our university. So without which this event would not have been possible. Thanks for inviting professionals for this blockchain and cybersecurity session. Also, I would like to remind all now only teachers who participate and researchers our seminar to fill out the assessment form, which will be used to evaluate the understanding of the topics covered. I ask submit the completed form after the seminars, and after the seminar. And if any questions, suggestions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me directly via email. And once again, I'd like to express my gratitude to each of participants and teachers in our seminar, and thank you and wish you all the best.
Also, just to add up, if people who would like to have a certificate that attendance, also please write to Sarina, and in a couple of days you will be getting the certificate on your name. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, and bye. And tomorrow at 9 o'clock, yes, we have last session for students. Yes, see you tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
See you. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.